Hallo zusammen und willkommen zu
Hello everyone and welcome to a new talk on our Laco YouTube channel. You've already read it in the title. Today is all about Erbstücke, the German word for heirloom. New watches that look old, and that very much on purpose. What's behind this, and how the whole thing is created, that's what we'll look at today, after the intro.
Neue Uhren, die so ausschauen, als wären sie schon jahrzehntelang getragen worden.
New watches that look like they've been worn for decades, and each one of them is unique. Today is all about the Laco Erbstück, again from the beautiful showroom here in Pforzheim with Dorothea Günther from sales by my side. Hello Dorothea, nice to have you here.
Hello Amina, I'm glad to see you.
Me too. We're talking about a very special watch today, the Laco Erbstück. The name says it all. An item that is very old, or at least with this watch, it looks like the watch has been worn for a very, very long time and passed down. We see a lot of scuffs, scratches, and discoloration here. My first question to you would be, how did the idea for this come about in the first place?
Laco hat ein historisches Vorbild.
Laco has a historical original, the large 55mm observation watch that Laco produced in the 1940s. So we do refer to this historical model.
That means that the idea was more or less on the table.
It was sort of on the table. Fortunately, we also have some originals in our Laco museum here in Pforzheim in the showroom. And as a result, we had the idea that we should also put our original pilot watches on a journey through time and make them look as if they were actually from then.
Scratches and discolorations are very unusual for a watch. Is it possible to make a general statement about who might be particularly interested in the Erbstück, and, above all, for which occasion such a watch is intended? I mean, it's kind of daring for every day, isn't it?
Eine spannende Frage, denn wir waren sehr mutig in der Gestaltung der Alterung, als die Uhr erstmal.
That's an exciting question, because we were very bold in the design of the aging. In fact, when the watch was first introduced, it was really polarizing. There were customers who thought it was extremely cool because it's simply unique. There were also customers who said that they'd definitely not wear a watch like that. They definitely didn't want any signs of use, and if they did, then only signs of personal use. I would say that individualists wear this watch. People who like this look of watches that have signs of their wear. It is just something special. I also think maybe also people who are interested in flying, who perhaps even have their own historic aircraft and then just want to wear a historic watch on the wrist when they fly. Regarding special occasions, that's a little difficult to answer. I think the watch is less likely to be worn with a suit. And simply because of its proportions, it doesn't go well under a jacket or under a shirt sleeve. It's certainly more likely to be worn with a casual look. But ultimately, of course, it's up to the customer to decide.
Du hast es gerade so schön gesagt, Dorothea, Individualist.
You just put it perfectly, Dorothea. Individualists. Every single Erbstück is unique, so our watchmakers really make sure that no two watches are alike. But what really makes a watch unique?
Unikat, das Wort Unikat bedeutet ja, dass es jede Uhr tatsächlich nur einmal gibt. Wir erzielen diesen Effekt mit sehr viel Handarbeit.
The word unique means that that watch really only exists once. We achieve this effect with a lot of manual work. There's no industrial production involved here. As a result, you can't always achieve a perfectly identical result with manual work. The traces of use that make the watch so unique can be determined. For example, by the color of the case. As you can see here, every case shines through already, which looks different. Likewise, of course, we have different discolorations on the dials. Again, there are different shades of color, so no dial actually looks like any other dial. Same with the crown. So you can say that all components are hand-finished, and that's how you just achieve a special, unique watch. Of course, there are also traces of use. Customers who like it can actually order their Erbstück designed the way they would like it. And these traces of use are then also added by us by hand, so that really no two watches look the same.
Dass auch hier keine Uhr aussieht wie die andere.
It's great that you've already picked up the watch, Dorothea. We'll take a closer look at the different elements now. Which parts specifically get treated?
Wir waren sehr mutig in der Gestaltung der Alterung, bis auf das Saphirglas.
We were very brave in the design of the aging. except for the sapphire crystal and the movement, which of course will be installed in new condition. All components will be aged. I'm happy to go over the case again, because here you can see the aging exceptionally well. There is a color change, so this is not coating, but the change actually remains the same as the case is sealed again after aging. So the discoloration stays that way and doesn't change afterwards. In addition, of course, the dial has also been aged. Here we have the watch dial B. You can see that well. The hour in the inner circle and the minutes in the outer circle. Here it's worth noting that the numbers 10, 20, 30, and so on are made a little darker. This is due to the fact that in the original watch, exactly these numbers were formerly covered with radium, together with a binding agent. And the radium then changed the color of that binder, so that these numbers became somewhat darker. The 5, the 15, and the 25, and so on, were only painted on with paint. That's why you can see on the original watch that these numbers are lighter. Of course, we try to be true to the original in that regard.
Radium in the past, now superluminova. Doesn't that mean that the luminosity is limited?
Yes, that is indeed the case. Unfortunately, it can't be done any other way. Of course, all the parts, including the hands, have to be changed with color pigments accordingly. The customers who buy this watch are well aware of this. They know that the luminosity is not the same. This is also the case with the original old watches, but it is not a problem. The customers know about it.
This whole aging process sounds incredibly complex. I think I speak for all of us. We're very curious to see how it's being done. I mean, it's probably not going to work without any tools. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yes, and it is accepted. I can imagine that this question is of course very, very exciting, and the listeners will be curious to see what we can answer. I would like to emphasize that it is indeed a very elaborate process. You're right about that. It has been specifically developed in-house at Laco. The key thing, of course, is that we have to get the case to rust, because the case is made of stainless steel, and that is, of course,
very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very difficult and very, very complicated. It took us a long time until we could achieve exactly this result. That's why I really hope that you won't mind that I can't tell you any of the specifics.
Too bad.
Yes, I'm very sorry about that, but of course it's part of the Laco success story and it needs to remain our secret.
So we will not reveal the secret today. We can say it's done with a lot of effort and individually manufactured by our watchmakers. This also underlines the manufactory character.
That is correct. What I can say is that there are several processes that have to intertwine at exactly the right moment to be able to achieve this result. What is important is something that we always do at Laco. We do everything with great care. Each and every watch is really created with great love. The Erbstück models, in particular, we care a lot about, because they really are a part of our Laco history.
So the
Laco Erbstück stands out in the Laco family. Does the customer also have an influence on the signs of wear?
Das ist in der Tat eine ganz entscheidende Frage. Ja, das kann der Kunde. Wir bieten
That is indeed a very important question. Yes, that's possible. We offer 3 different aging levels that I could briefly explain. Right. The discoloration of the stainless steel is actually the same for all 3 levels. Of course, one model might be a bit lighter or a bit darker. Level 1 does not apply any manually inserted notches or scratches, so the case remains clean. Aging level 2 is actually the most desired by customers. This is where we manually apply signs of use, where of course it's crucial to be knowledgeable about watches. So where exactly do authentic traces of use actually appear? That is for one thing around the crown. The original watch has a hand-wound movement, which means that the watch was regularly wound. This means that there is naturally some wear around the crown. Now, when I wear my watch on the wrist, it's easy to bump these corners into something. With these corners, of course, less. So there we don't apply any manual notches. But it is important that they are actually identical or authentic.
Das ist schon auch wichtig, dass die tatsächlich identisch sind oder authentisch sind.
So logical thinking is also required.
Genau, also der Uhrmacher muss sich tatsächlich in die Uhr.
The watchmaker really has to be able to imagine the watch's life cycle. Where do the signs of use have to be applied? Level 3 is actually ordered very rarely. I would say mainly by collectors who have dealt with the original watch before, who know that the mass in the hands might have broken out. So level 3 is then also superluminova with color pigments. However, the hand will not be completely covered with superluminova, but only partially, which of course has the effect that the watch gets a little more difficult to read. This is why it's not usually ordered. But if customers want to be authentic, they can order level 3.
Das wird im Allgemeinen nicht gewünscht, aber Kunden, die auch hier die Möglichkeit haben, authentisch zu sein, die können dann Level 3 bestellen.
So again, very close to the original from back then.
Indeed.
At this point, it's also important to emphasize that the customer has to specify his personal wishes when ordering. Otherwise, he gets the standard, which is level 2, correct?
Right.
So just let us know which level you want on our website or also at our retailers. And that's also where Laco stays in touch with you. We're slowly approaching the end of our talk. We haven't talked about the straps yet. What can you tell us about them?
Was kannst du uns dazu sagen?
As far as the leather straps are concerned, I would say that we were again inspired by the original Flieger watch, which has a closed leather strap. I'm happy to demonstrate that here now for a moment. This is a good way to see it. It is opened via the roller buckle. It's called the closed leather strap, but unlike the original, it's fixed with spring bars here, so you can also replace the strap. The closed leather strap is double layered, so when it's closed, when it's on the wrist, it can be a little thicker.
Pretty big, isn't it?
Yes, some customers like it, of course, because it's original. If you don't like that, it's always possible to get a two-piece leather strap and order the watch with an alternative strap. That would then look like this.
Das wäre dann in dieser Form.
Both straps are aged?
Beide Bänder sind natürlich gealtert. Das ist
Both
richtig.
straps are aged, yes, that's right. Both straps have the pilot watch typical rivets on the leather strap. So there we stay.
True to the original. And this is calfskin?
Exactly. It's calfskin, correct.
The Erbstück is based on the original Flieger watch, so we also have the same upgrade options, right?
We have the same upgrade possibilities, yes. Customers can upgrade the movement from elaboré to top. They can have a double-sided anti-reflective sapphire crystal installed. Left-handed people can have the crown mounted on the left side. And an engraving can be done on the back of the case as well.
By the way, we have also recorded a separate video on that. So if you want to know more about the original Flieger watches, please have a look. It's linked here in the video. Now, that would be the moment in which the packaging comes flying in. But we won't do this time. I think that would be very painful, because the size has changed this time. We have a very large wooden box this time, not a classic travel case as we usually do. We're going to open the whole thing up together.
So that you can see the wooden box. It still has the Laco logo on it. The watch lies beautifully in there for the transport. A special watch, of course, needs a very special packaging.
Exactly, with some historical charm. And that brings us to the end. Thank you so much for being here, Dorothea. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Amina. I also had a lot of fun.
Also, thank you to you out there for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new videos. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and with that, I say goodbye. Until next time.